channel. Today we're doing an exciting DIY project. We are doing the DIY aged stone ceramic vase project. This is something I've wanted to do for ages. I've just been waiting to get the right vase to do so, and now we're finally here and I have a free afternoon, so I thought, screw it, I'm just going to give it a go and see where we end up with it. This is my first time doing anything like this, but I have followed a couple tutorials across many blogs and Pinterest and YouTube. I highly recommend going to check some of those out as well, because there's so many different tips and tricks that you can do depending on what colour, what finish, all that jazz. So do go check them out. But this one is specifically for more of a neutral aged look. So like I mentioned, I've been wanting to do this for ages. I've wanted one of these stone vases in my home for ages. I would have bought one by now, but I am on a budget with my makeovers and there are other stuff I want to spend my money on. So I've had to wait patiently so that I can DIY it. Like I said, there's so many on the market and they're absolutely stunning, but boy, do they cost a fortune. Who knew that like just aging something would be a couple of bob? Like, it's insane. So we're going to give it a go. I actually had most of this stuff here. There's only a few things I had to go out and buy at the end, because this could be such a disaster. This may never see the light of day, but I'm sure it's going to be a success. So at the end of this video, I will show you all my costings of how much everything costs, and you can see the total versus what it would be to buy. It's always interesting to see, actually, is it worth it and everything like that. And that's something I want to kind of explore. Was it actually worth doing this DIY, or, you know, should I just have ordered it? You know, who knows? Like I said, it took me ages to find this vase. I got it from HomeSense for $9.99. It's that perfect shape. I'm not gonna lie, this is bothering me a little bit though, that it's a little bit uneven at the top, but I think it could add to the charm, or it could just be hidden with branches and stuff like that. I really see this being styled this autumn with some autumnal faux leaves, so you'll see that at the flat end. But like I said, yeah, it took me a while to find it because I wanted a specific shape of that kind of bell bottom with the edge up. I have seen some people do it with like glass bottles and kind of that traditional shape, and I mean, they're okay, but they're just not my cup of tea. So this is why I've been sitting on this project for so long. So as I mentioned, I pretty much had most of this stuff. So I had two of these samples in the exact same colour. Didn't even know they were here, but found them, I thought they'll do. So this is Farrow Schoolhouse White number 291. This will be kind of like an off-white cream colour, which I think would be perfect for the look that I'm going for. We have soil, dirt, which is in the garden, or compost downstairs, so I'll grab that when I need that bit. Got bicarb soda, which is the bit that we're going to use to create the paste to make the ceramic stone look. And then I've got this clear sealer, which will basically ensure that when we have the dirt onto it, it won't come off. Also, paintbrush and bucket. So I buy these all the time. You can get them in like packs of 3 at your local DIY store, and for any sort of interior project that you're doing, I highly recommend getting one of these rather than pouring your paint straight into the tray. It saves such a clean up, so I highly recommend it. So, as I said, the look we're going for, there's many different types and styles that are out there. I do love the sort of aged browny grey ones, they're quite lovely. I will of course insert some pictures of my inspiration on screen right now. So yeah, like I said, I kind of love all of them, but the look I'm going for is this sort of creamy aged colour, very Amber Interiors Studio McGee. In case you haven't gathered by now on my channel, I love both of their interior styles. So yeah, as I said, we're going to give it a go, see where we end up, and yeah, kind of go along for the process. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is make up the formula of paint with bicarb soda. I think you can use baking powder or cornstarch, anything like that, but the best I've seen is that the bicarb soda has more of a manageable texture to it. A lot of them, they can become a bit too muddy or a bit too thick, so this one is just that kind of right paste that you're going for. So we need to kind of do the measurements up. I'm thinking equal parts. We'll go from there. I'll let you know the final one. Okay, so as you can see, this went on so easily. I think this took me about 10 minutes to do, if even that. I was doing the edge and then I went slightly into the vase. I don't think you necessarily have to do that, especially if you're filling it with water, but I just thought because it's such a thin edge, it would be worth doing it. So you would have seen the mixture of what I made up and it went on smoothly, and I have tons of it left. So in terms of how much paint you need, one of these will do just fine. Again, like I said, I will add up the cost so you can kind of see how much it would be. But yeah, this is like pretty much sorted. I love how you can see my other DIY projects in the background. I'll explain those in another video. So yeah, I reckon it'll be about another hour, I think, until it's touch dry, and then I can go in with a second coat. Okay, it is coming towards the end of the day. This actually dried a lot quicker than I expected. I'm thinking it's partially to do with it having the bicarb in it, so it's sort of baked in the heat, because today has been officially as hot as balls. It's been so hot today, and I actually put it outside for quite a bit of its drying time, so I think that has made it dry pretty quickly. But this has now had 2 and a bit coats, so there are some areas where I had to be a bit patchy with it and just kind of go over it, forgetting though I'm about to dirt it up. So that's something to bear in mind. But I pretty much used that whole tester pot, so that was more than enough to do something, I would say, medium to big size. So props to the tester pot standing up. But yeah, it feels so good. Like, it feels just really nice and textured, like it has been made by hand, and I'm actually not too bothered now by the edge being sort of that fluted. I've kind of built it up where I can, so it looks just more like it's been handmade and someone just was finishing off the edge and just a bit more rustic. So that makes me happy. I'm really impressed with this DIY so far. So the next bit is to dirty it up. So having a look at kind of other people's techniques, what I'm understanding is it's pretty much free for all on how you like it. So a lot of people did it quite heavy at the bottom and then lighter at the top. Some people have done it quite patchy. I think I'm just gonna go for it and see how it looks. And then what I'm gonna do is then spray it once I'm done with, let me just grab it, this stuff. So this is a sealer, which is used for interior art and crafts projects in a satin finish. So you can get the gloss finish, but I really wanted it quite matte, so I think this one will be perfect for it. I will show you how I'm going to do that outside. For now, I'm just going to dirty it up. I have a mug of dirt. This is just from my compost bag that I use to pot my things. And I have my gardening gloves because I'm getting dirt under my nails. So I'm going to get prepared and, like I said, just smother it on, see how it does, go light to begin with and then kind of see how it does, build it up in some areas. And then yeah, I think once I've done that, it will be time to spray it, and then I think I'll leave it overnight. So I think this could be done pretty much tomorrow morning, which for a DIY project, this has been so easy. So in terms of, is it worth doing the DIY project over buying? I'm gonna say yes, because this was a lot quicker to do than I expected it to be. This is becoming a lot messier than I expected. Should have had a bigger area to catch everything, but oh well. Okay, thoughts so far on this. It's really hard to tell on camera, but it is working. There's bits here that clearly haven't dried, so just gotta know where to face the vase in the future, this section to the wall. So it is working. There is that kind of looking very aged. It's just hard to kind of see on camera. So it is working. The problem is to get the gradient. That's the thing that's not working, is I've kind of rotated it quite dark on the bottom. So I'm gonna go and get a spare plastic bag because this is gonna make a mess, but my thinking is if I get some water and almost make it mud-like, I think that will really help like darken the bottom so that I'll get that kind of gradient in there, so it'll go from this to upwards. That's my thinking. So I'm gonna give it a go, start slow at burning and then go from there, but I think this might be what I'm aiming for. Okay, we are done muddying this up. A couple of things to note. First off, should have done this outside. Hubby's gonna kill me for making a mess in his clean kitchen. Secondly, when you're doing the wet mud, don't do what I did. I almost made like a mud pie consistency, and I don't know if it's just because there wasn't enough paint on the bottom here or I hadn't let that bit dry fully, but you can see where me scrubbing has like erased it a lot. So I have to there's always just gonna be a section of how it's faced. It's always gonna be like kind of that way and stuff like that. But in terms of the gradient, it did work, making it a bit more wet and muddy. What I would say is do it more like a light misting on the mud, so you just get that little bit of wetness to mix it in rather than a dry. But this is pretty much how it's turned out, making it look a bit aged. Again, it's not really showing on camera that much, but I'm impressed with it and I absolutely love it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go outside and make myself a little cardboard tent. I'm going to spray it up with this completely all over, and then yeah, just leave it to dry overnight, and in the morning I will show you the finished results. Here she is, the finished results of our DIY project, and I am so happy that I did this. I think it looks amazing, if I say so myself. One thing that I did do was go over the bottom late last night and recovered it, and then dirtied it up this morning and then left it for a couple of hours so that it was sealed to kind of get rid of those bits that weren't done. So I highly recommend doing that step because I think it has made a difference to how the overall finish looks. But I am so happy with her, like she looks so authentic, and for the first time ever my husband walked home after work and was like, oh wow, that looks amazing. So he was really impressed with one of these DIY projects. Normally he's like so-so, but he was just like, oh my god, it looks really nice, babe. So it's got approval. I will put up some numbers here of obviously the average cost of one of these out in the retail world, and I will put a cost of how much this cost me to make. I'm not going to calculate exactly everything, so like, you know, the full can of spray, because I actually only used about a third of it. Same with the Bicarb sober, so you can kind of see the overall kind of what it would cost per individual item. But I do have plenty of supplies left over that I think there's going to be a few more that I'm going to be doing around the house. There's a vase down here that I think I'm going to do a bit more kind of a darker kind of one, so that might be another YouTube video in the future. Do let me know down in the comments below if you're interested in seeing that DIY process. So yeah, I am now going to do some autumnal pictures and show her off on the Instagram. Again, if you're not following me on Instagram, a link will be down below. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to do more of an autumnal look, but it is 27 degrees and I am sweltering right now. So we are going with the lightest clothes, but soon you'll see it in the more autumnal setting than this. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed this very quick DIY video. Do let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed it, if you're going to try it yourself, if you've got any other suggestions of DIYs you want me to test out for you guys. Like, share, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!